Every time we come here, it's always everything else but that.
It's just me. It's just me. I mean, you guys are, not wanting me to have the same experience.
Well,
I get it.
Well, I'm liking the consistency because we had a stretch there where it was a struggle.
It was.
And I think you're right. I think
we're referring to the sound system.
Yeah, I think it was the memory stick.
Yeah, you know what? Who knows?
Strange.
So for those listeners out there that don't know what we're talking about, we got a digital soundboard, X32 Behringer soundboard. It's top of the line, digital. Of course, when you have something digital, it's garbage in, garbage out. In the smallest something will do something. I have no idea. At the end of the day, I have no idea what the hell's going on. But the only thing we did was change out the thumb drive.
It's working great.
Has messed up since. So,
and we sound great.
Well,
I've had multiple listeners tell me that I personally sound amazing.
That's because of the semblance screen, but you don't have the semblance screen
I took
anymore.
it off. We're getting ready for video. People need to see this face.
Oh,
good Lord.
No, I'm sorry, guys. My confidence is spiking with this whole video thing. I'm looking into the future, and I'm seeing big.
I think you've popped one too many Sheila-jits.
Maybe.
Sheila
Maybe. All right, here we are. This is the last podcast of January. Shocking.
That it is.
Yeah. It is, right? Is it next week, February?
February. Yes, it is. Because today is the, 28th, 27th?
Didn't we just start 2025?
Yeah. You know what? The older we're getting, these weeks, these days are just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Because it's early dementia. We're just not remembering.
No, I just think it's the Russell Tussle of the rat race. I think that's what
rat race.
I think we've figured out that it's the rat race. I think that of the four of us in this room right now, I think Jeff's probably the only one that's going to get this figured out. With his retirement set forth, he's going to be coasting into his retirement. He's like, fuck it.
Are you semi-retired now, Jeff?
Hell yeah.
Possibly, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he's committed to no more stress with corporate life, and I applaud that. If you don't have to deal with that, screw it.
Yeah,
I love that. That's a good plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's health-wise. The more I look back at it, I sat at my desk 8-10 hours a day.
Yes.
Sedentary.
You didn't have one of those walking treadmills and a rising desk like I do?
No, it's always one of those things where, I know Sean was doing, I was like, I need to do that, and never did it.
I bought the rising desk, and I bought the walking treadmill, and they both just kind of sit exactly where they are, where I...
You didn't use them?
No, not yet, no.
I use my desk every day. Well, I use my desk every day, but I've got...
lift it.
Yeah, I raise it up every day.
And what do you do?
It's funny. We had a Teams meeting today, and I raised the desk up, and I'm just sitting there.
And he turns the monitors down.
No, but I'm just sitting there, and there's like 30, 40 people on the call, and all of a sudden, it's like, and my head just kind of disappears.
Oh, you had the camera on. Oh, my goodness.
The camera sitting on top of the monitor. No, I knew exactly what I was doing.
Oh, you messing with
And I was just sitting there, because you know how the people act like when you're walking behind a couch and they look like you're stepping down the stairs.
Yes. So all they can see was your eyes?
Well, it went gone. It was like, and it was gone. And they were just like, and then finally I stood up, and then someone made a comment. It was, thought you've been down in the basement there. I love it, man.
Yeah, I really do need to do that. I do have the little walking treadmill. I do have the rising desk. I just, it's super simple. Just roll it over there, plop it down.
Put it together.
It's just like anything. It's a commitment.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's so hard, though.
Anyway. Speaking of age and where we're at, I think Paul and I have gone through a couple of things this week. I had my yearly physical, so that means I had my prostate tickled.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Yes. That was on Monday.
Did you ask for an extended session?
No, I didn't have to. She was quite effective at it.
Oh, yeah, with small fingers.
Small
You
fingers.
and your small finger doctors. That's so... you guys
it's
intuitive. I like the manly doctors. Dr. Guy Culpepper. He's just
go in there and blow your O-ring out.
Oh, man.
He's a WWE wrestler at one time,
my
wasn't he?
butthole looks like a Funyun after he's done with it.
Yeah, like Andre the Giant.
Beaten down.
That's very nice.
Dudes like us. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.
It's January 28th. It's the first half of our Dudes Like Us show. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, Dudes Like Us podcast. And if you're looking out for some swag we can offer, Dudes Like Us Woodcraft.
Mm-hmm.
We've got lots of cool stuff there.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Shout out to the Lowry Crossing, 1845. We picked up the latest and greatest. God bless it, not the Texian. What was it called?
Texian.
Was it Texian?
Yes.
No, it was the Panhandle. Yeah, it was the
Panhandle.
Panhandle.
Yeah, you're right. How is it? I haven't tasted it yet.
I haven't either.
We did a sample there. and it was very, 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 very tasty.
It's not a bourbon, right? It's another whiskey.
It's another whiskey.
It's a whiskey.
Correct.
Is it double barreled or anything?
No.
Yeah, what's
it's not.
unique about it?
It's unique because it's not something they normally make.
No, so it's the Texian.
You know what?
You don't know the details?
I really don't, but we're going to pull it up. The Panhandle Proud Texas Straight Whiskey, it is double oaked. A portion of the proceeds from the sale will be donated to the Panhandle Proud Initiative, an effort spearheaded by Garrison Brothers to support those who suffered by the devastating fires in early 2024. Your support will help the farmers and ranchers in the Amarillo area rebuild their herds, rehabilitate their land, and replace their equipment. It's a long road back. This one's aged 49 months, aged almost 4 years in ex-Kentucky bourbon barrels, which is interesting.
For the second time.
That's second. Then finished a new oak barrels that were toasted and lightly charred.
That's why it's a whiskey and not a bourbon.
Correct.
It's a used barrel.
Correct.
Yeah. Hey, look, when we tasted this, it was fantastic. The 100 proof, man, it tasted like 80 proof. It went down so easy.
I kind of put myself on a pause to buy every bottle that comes out, not just from 1845, but just in general. I mean, because I have way more than I could drink.
Yeah,
right?
I need to purge.
And now I'm wishing I don't know.
Well, it's not too late.
I have some FOMO on this one.
They've got some, and the price is right. This one's $68.99 before tax. You can buy it, and look, you're not going to be able to buy this Panhandle Proud at anywhere but the distillery. They don't offer this at the Total Wine or spec stores.
Right.
Well, a lot of people are going through what you're going through because the bourbon market. A lot of the folks are saying that it's not crashing, but it's softening.
It's tapering.
And MGP apparently is in a world of hurt. Their CEO either got fired or canceled, or or he quit.
The CEO of MGP.
The CEO of MGP.
Oh, wow.
Because apparently they were giving future outlooks that were not true. So people were buying stock thinking, wow,
that's not cool.
They're good. They're looking great. And the guys I was listening to were like, there's talk that the folks who purchased stock within the last 6 months or something like that, based off of this information they were giving, could have a potential suit against them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If stakeholders are making decisions based on flawed data, that's not good.
Yeah. So the CEO got I don't know if he fired or quit. He resigns.
Resigned. Wow.
Yeah, so he resigned because he screwed the pooch, man.
Yeah, I mean, the market's so saturated anyway, right? I mean, it's just...
A lot of people are going, like what you said, you're like, man, I have a lot.
I do.
You're like, how many do I need? I mean, we have our collection here, but personally, I probably got 4 or 5 downstairs, and I'm not going to get much more beyond that.
Right.
Outside of what I drink.
You know
that's what I drink.
How long it's going to take me to drink
you
what
hit
I
your
have.
par. So I mean, everyone has their own par.
Right.
Your par is dependent on where you have your stuff. Like
Right.
my office, I got that little shelf set up. I'm almost full.
Right.
I'm not going to be buying any more either.
Right.
And
well, until you empty one, you're like, I got room.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but that's kind of where it's at. And I'm also starting to get a little selective now. I mean, we're getting to a point now where I need to start focusing on retirement and dumping some money. Which, incidentally, I need to set up those accounts, man. God bless it. But
yeah, it's real easy. Let's do it. Let's do it Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday
during the day. Are you working from home? You work from home every day.
Yeah, Thursday. So far, I am.
All right, let's plan on that.
Yeah, so I travel tomorrow, Wednesday, but going back out to Sulphur Springs.
Is that where
the
nude colony is?
No, that was Edinburgh, Texas. Shout out to I forget the name.
Your nude friends?
No, what was the name? I wear the shirt
Sandy Shores or something like that.
I wear that shirt all the time. I forget what it is.
Oh my God.
Sandy, sand something. Edinburgh Nudist Colony. Sandpiper, yeah. The Edinburgh Sandpiper Nudist Colony. Shout out to those guys.
And that was the story of the tricycle with the flag.
Oh my God!
And it was flooded.
I'll tell you what. I'll go into a quick synopsis of this because nobody knows where I work at. But my job brings me to disasters. Let's just say that.
Right.
I show up at this one place and I get an address. I don't really know where I'm going. I do a little bit of research, find out basically what it is.
Right.
I find out it's an RV park and it's surrounded by a 10-foot metal fence and
like a mysterious compound.
It did kind of look like a compound, and there's a metal big gate that opens up, and it's like a Maxwell Smart. Dun, 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 dun,
Right.
And these guys with machine guns are standing there.
But the place was, to get out there, it was in the middle of kind of an unpopulated area,
swampy or not swampy, but
the water had filled up a lot because it hasn't drained correctly yet. The place got flooded. Long story short, but I show up and it turns out this is a nudist colony. And these doors open up and there's people that are naked walking around, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
And you were like, oh yeah.
And this guy's on his little adult mailed tricycle, and it's got a little ring, and a little chihuahua on the front basket.
I don't understand how you did.
Nuts are just splayed over. Nuts on one side is Wong on the other.
Like spatchcocked over the big bucket seat.
I just don't understand how you didn't turn around and walk out.
Well, it's my job, and I was kind of like, oh.
What do you think that seat looked like when he got up?
I didn't even think about it.
It looked moist and
hopefully
sticky.
He had some wet wipes. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how long he was on the tricycle.
He had a wonderful team.
Yeah, there it is. Sandpiper's Nudist Resort. Oh, we could go.
Yeah.
We could check in, check out.
Yeah. Kids are welcome.
What?
Yeah, bring a few kids out there.
You did not see that. They didn't say.
No, look, we're saying they're child guests. Yeah, right there.
Oh, my God.
And pets.
Yeah.
Big enough to have a great amenities and a fun, active crowd. Small enough to be really casual and comfortable.
Look, I don't care. It's none of my business. But you know what? The people that were there, you did feel a sense of community there. They were friends. These type of people are kind of, I don't want to say wealthy, but they
look like that.
They don't have that. That is not
no one looks like that.
The average person that's there. I'd say they've got a little bit, about 30, 40 years of hangage.
Yeah, see, that's false advertising. They've got this, this is the backside of a lady in the pool, and the backside of a woman.
You see her naked bottom.
Oh, and she's
topless grilling. I was like, really? Come on, that's not.
She got a nice body. She's young, virile.
None of them look like that. Not one of them.
It was it's an interesting way of life. Hats off to those guys that can do stuff like that. I don't care. It's not my business. They have a good time. It's a good sense of community. They all care about each other, and I don't know if they're into this group stuff, but whatever.
But hats off to them for the confidence.
Nude Olympics. They have Nude Olympics.
Yeah, that's my shirt.
Ooh.
It's the home of the Sandpiper Nudist Nude Olympics. I've got a T-shirt.
Why is he leaping like that?
Well, he's playing basketball. He's going up to catch a ball.
We're not really sure what he's doing.
I don't know what that is.
Where's his junk?
Oh, they don't have junk at this.
They don't.
Is it like taped?
We're seeing a silhouette.
They've all been altered.
That's from the. You know what? Let's just move on.
Yes.
So, anyways, how do we get distracted on that?
Sulphur Springs.
Sulphur Springs. That's where I'm headed.
Which is not a nudist resort.
It is not. So I got to go back out to Sulphur Springs. It's whatever. It's a couple hours away. It's not that big of a deal.
There's Sulphur Springs.
Yeah, it's
more damage, more disasters.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. What really grinds my gears? This grinds my gears. There are people out there that file insurance claims, and they get a public adjuster attached to this thing. And look, and the thing is that they're playing by the rules, and the insurance companies will pay if you're playing by the rules. But you gotta have a sense of reality to this, and you gotta have a sense of what's right and what's wrong. And I'm gonna refer to a storage unit. I'm just making this up. So imagine you have a 15-building storage complex with these big bay doors. They're metal, right?
Sure.
And they have you have insurance for a reason, to protect the buildings in case they get damaged.
Sure.
Well, typically with buildings like that, you have what they call a cosmetic exclusion, which means that you save money because if the building gets hit with a piece of hail, it leaves a little dimple. Well, dimple doesn't really damage it. It's not going to rust.
Right.
It's argumentative for some of those ignorant folks out there, but it doesn't rust. There's nothing wrong with it. It's going to shed water just fine. So these cosmetic exclusions don't extend to the big bay doors they have in the front. So that's covered because it's damaged. And it's bullshit. It is absolutely a cash grab. So what happens is that you get these people out there and these public adjusters, and they'll go out there and say, all right, well, we have 120 of these bay doors, and these things are around $4,000 a piece. We're going to, we want to replace them all. So what they'll do is they will file an insurance claim. We'll get an engineer out there, and he'll be like, well, it's got dimples in it. It's not damaged, but it's fractured. So, it's got dimples. It wasn't like it was.
Right.
And now the agents will now, because the carriers are going to come back and be like, yeah, this is bullshit. We can't do anything about it, but shame on me once, shame on you, whatever that phrase is. I forget. So they're gonna end up adjusting that policy for the next period,
and they have no choice because it's covered.
It's covered.
So
they're playing by the rules.
So they're going to cut a $400,000 check,
whatever it is,
and they're not going to fix it.
That's right. So when you file an insurance claim, it basically comes in two parts. They pay you up front the ACV, the actual cash value of whatever happens. Let's say whatever it is. Let's say it's 2 years old.
Right.
So they're only going to apply like maybe 20% depreciation.
Right.
So they're going to pay 80% of that. All right. So you get an 80% check. Bam, there you go. Fix
Boom.
it. Well, you could take that check
and do whatever you want
and go to Las Vegas and never do a damn thing.
right?
Well, that goes for anything, any insurance claim.
That's true. That's true. But it's wrong.
It's totally wrong.
It's morally wrong. It's ethically wrong.
I agree.
And that's what happens a lot. And in these public adjusters out there, I got to tell you, man, there is sometimes a need to have someone provide support for you if you get this Nazi-style adjuster out there that just, not necessarily that they're trying to be nefarious and trying to rip you off, but they don't have enough attention to detail to really provide you with the amount coverage you should get. They just kind of they're like, yeah, that's good enough. We'll go. They're ignorant and they don't know. They accept the money and they pay the difference and they move on with life. Well, these public adjusters are there to help them, but these public adjusters
are unethical.
90% of them out there, they're just snakes.
They're just looking for a payout,
a cash grab.
Yeah,
that's all this is.
Do they get a percentage?
Grab.
Let's say that's 400,000. Does he get like 10% of that?
Yeah, it's absolutely what it is. And it is bullshit. So they basically get 10% of that 40 grand, and they spent like 2-3 weeks on it. But it gets worse because you got these public adjusters that are tied into $1 million, $10 million.
We're talking big money.
$50 million. Those guys are getting paid, and I just think it's wrong.
I'll give you another example. Like Dylan got into a pretty bad car wreck a couple of years ago with his very first car, right? I don't know if you guys remember that, but he was being stupid, right? 8 days after he got his license, right? Anyway, he was speeding down a road, a residential. I say residential road. It's like one of the roads that leads into the subdivision, right? But there's no homes on it.
Right.
Anyway, so lost control, knocked over a pole, and wrapped the car around a tree. Okay. And seriously, lucky to be alive, and so was his passenger, right? And so part of the claim was $30,000 for the damage to the tree, right? Because it knocked off $30,000.
Okay, but hold on a second. Was the tree on a commercial property or residential?
It was on probably the subdivision's property, not a.
So was it homeowners association?
Yeah. So they charged our insurance $30,000 for that tree because it knocked off some bark and whatever. It didn't knock the tree over. It just knocked some bark off. Years later, I go back to that subdivision for a completely unrelated thing.
Tree's still there.
Tree's still standing. Bark's fine. Whatever. That's fucking scam. That's fraud. That is insurance fraud.
So who kept that money? That $30,000.
I guess the homeowners association, and then they threw a huge ass party.
You don't think anyone
pocketed it? Probably.
Well,
Pocketed.
I mean, if that money went, let's man, I don't know. I don't want to get into scenarios, but it happens all the time.
When money gets involved,
all the time.
When money gets involved, people turn into fucking idiots.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They do. When they see that there's an opportunity to make $30,000, they'll do some stupid shit.
And it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, not that I'm tooting my own horn, but somebody hit Brody in that roundabout, and I looked at the damage, and it was basically damage. There was already previous damage to that corner, and everybody was like, okay, well, get the money, but don't fix it. And I'm like, that's not right.
Right.
What am I going to do that for? First off, and it's a pain in my ass. I got to go get, 2 or 3 quotes and, let that lady know. And she's probably stressing about because she wanted to handle outside of insurance, and she didn't make a lot of money. It was a piece of shit old Honda.
Right.
You know what I mean? And finally, I just texted her and said, you know what? I'm not going to fix the car, so there's no point in.
Right.
And she was like super thankful about it. But I mean, if you're not going to fix whatever you're getting insurance money for, then you should not ask for it.
Right.
That's my attitude.
I agree, 100%.
So anyway, Interesting. How do we get on? How do we get on the things that we get on? Huh?
Well, he was talking about the Sulphur Springs again.
Yes. Oh,
And the
yes.
Doors.
Because we were talking about what he's doing Thursday.
Yes.
Well,
Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow.
Busy week for
Yeah,
Mr. Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the past 2 weeks.
He is out of control
hitting
in terms of
home
like
runs.
stamina and.
How much sleep do you think he's getting? 2 hours?
So I don't know if this is true, but they say he works until 2 a.m. and he gets 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, so I don't know why he has a brain that can do that.
You know what? Some people do. And
I do not.
Maybe. Fuck, who knows, man? And he may get a full 7, well, full 8. I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
It's insane.
There's a lot of travel that he does.
But they talk about his ability to just go, his energy level.
Well,
and
they
his
said that about Biden.
Stamina.
Yeah, but
I
he
couldn't
doesn't.
even keep up with them.
He doesn't drink.
Oh, my God.
You know what? I mean, it's. I was gonna say he eats healthy, but he
No, he
doesn't. One
doesn't.
of his favorites is like going to like McDonald's or something like that.
McDonald's,
Well,
KFC. And,
But we don't know what he eats, all the rest of the time. But I do know he doesn't drink alcohol, and hasn't for decades.
and he doesn't smoke.
Right? Doesn't smoke. What a boring guy. Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. Does he listen to rock and roll?
He should listen to us.
Huh.
Sean submitted it.
That's right. Oh, so you
It's going
guys
to go on his.
pay
It's
attention.
going to go on his desk.
Pay attention to the press conferences at the White House, because
So that's where I got the information from.
We may
because
be
there
there.
was the secretary, not the secretary, but the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker of the
No.
House,
Press
the
secretary.
press
Press
secretary,
secretary.
Levitt.
Levitt. What's her first name? Stephanie Levitt.
What is her first
Levitt,
name,
Levitt.
Mr. Producer?
Carlita?
Carlita Levitt? I don't think so. I think it starts with an H. Is it Hannah Levitt?
No, it starts with a K, doesn't it? Josie?
No, it's not Josie.
It's Caroline.
Yeah, I told you it was with a K.
Caroline.
I was close.
Did you say Caroline?
Yeah, Caroline
Yes.
Levitt. So
No, you didn't.
she was. She had mentioned during the her thing today. By the way, she is a firecracker.
She's an ass kicker.
And they
Yeah.
tried to beat, because this was her first one. I guarantee those people were
Oh, yeah.
trying to put her in her place and beat her into submission. And she didn't.
She was like
didn't let it.
laughing at him,
Yeah, she didn't
smirking
let
and
it.
smiling and laughing at him like,
Yes.
you people, what the hell ever.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah, she would. Oh, she's awesome, man.
And Jim Acosta, man, what a piece of shit. I don't know if that's old video footage they've been circulating, or is that new? Was he just in front of Trump berating him again?
Acosta?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, I don't. Did you hear the latest on him?
He's getting canned, isn't he?
Booted from CNN.
Yeah.
Hold on, because there was a press conference that they just put out of him berating Donald Trump.
Then that's got to be from
It
his
had to
first
be an
term.
old one.
So it wasn't like this past week?
No,
I don't think so.
no. And technically, he wasn't booted. They moved him to the midnight slot, and he's butthurt, and that doesn't want to do that, and so he quit. He has parted ways with CNN. So
Well, I mean, it rightfully so, because here's the thing: he's a
he's a douchebag.
asshole, man.
Total douchebag.
I mean, I don't care. Look, even if Trump, you have to show the president respect.
Right.
It's
he's
just like
he's the soundbite king.
it's like
trying
come
to
on, man. And
gotcha
he
questions
but
and-
he wouldn't relinquish the mic.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
that was an old one.
he had the mic, and then the girl was trying to grab it from him, and he wouldn't
Oh,
do
yeah.
it. And finally, Trump just backed away from the mic. It was kind of like, you know what? I'm not fucking talking to you. It's
yeah,
like, you know what?
that was his first term. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the, yeah.
Yeah, but good riddance. I'm glad I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
I'm glad he quit, because he's
Me too.
a bad human being. He really is. It shouldn't be like
he
that.
is all about himself.
And then you've got the other guy. It was the ABC News anchor? What is that his name? He was
Beer.
spouting off to Karina today.
Who?
I don't know all their names, but he's been on there for a while. Caroline, I'm
Caroline.
sorry.
I was going to say
Caroline.
Karina's the
Karina.
old
I was
one.
like, ooh,
Oh,
she's
God.
back?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Caroline, he was spouting off to her. One
Is
of
that
the
the guy
guys
with
that's
the? Is
there.
that the guy with the gray hair who was got a grill in her?
He's one of the only guys that was doing it. There was
there's. I don't know. What
And
his
she
name
went
is.
toe to toe with him.
she did, but whatever. I was happy to see her there. Completely two different games that
Totally.
that Joe. Oh my God,
KJP.
Yeah, KJP. Totally different game.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean-
she sucked at lying. So she looked awful up there, and she did a very
Yeah,
poor
but it's
job.
just like
she sucked at lying.
they didn't get called because in the news today, Caroline, one of the news reporters, they were like, "And thank you for calling on me. I haven't been able to speak for the last 4 years."
Oh, did they say that?
Yeah.
Straight out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because KJP wouldn't
Of course.
wouldn't call on her.
She's
Yeah.
like,
And
we're
it's
going to
just
give
like-
some love to the back of the room.
Yeah.
She would call folks all the way in the back.
I know, and that's where we'll be
Yes.
if we get called in there.
No, we're front row.
Hell right.
Oh, front row.
We're front row.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
shit, I didn't
anyways,
know that.
well, that's where I was going with this whole thing. I was listening to Caroline Levitt, and she was just like, and if you guys want to come up and ask some questions for us on some of our news outings, just to go to whitehouse.gov/new media. And
Yep.
I went there, I filled out the paperwork.
Just imagine it now. Here's Caroline. I'll take a question from one of you dudes like us. Like, what's on your
yes.
mind? Yeah, what would be your question, Sean? Go.
Oh,
Just go. Come on.
You have to be holding.
to be fair,
You have to be holding.
That's your question?
Oh, we would all do it together, and then
everybody would look at
to
us.
be fair,
And she'd go, okay,
out.
next question.
Yeah, we all have to have a
Get out.
Glencairn of bourbon while we're there.
Everybody's going to be like, who are these fools?
Just
you know what? I mean, we'd obviously be prepared if we were in there to ask some questions. You know?
Yeah.
But it'd be
they'd have
kind
to
of cool.
be. They'd have to be non-traditional questions, though.
They would.
Not the standard bullshit.
Right.
Well, I think our podcast qualifies for that. There's nothing traditional about what we do.
We could say, we understand that Donald doesn't drink alcohol, but if he did, what bourbon would he choose?
Right.
You know,
Would that be a relevant
She'd
question?
be like, "Yeah, I'm not calling on you again."
Yeah, she'd be like, yeah. Security?
well, I think whatever. I mean, it's a good choice for him not to drink. I salute that. He doesn't need it. I mean, look at him. He's president. He's rich. He's got a
awesome.
beautiful wife. He's got beautiful kids. I mean, what the hell? He's got everything set for him.
All right, what were some highlights this week? I know it's so he was talking about, let's see.
Well, he's deporting a bunch of the criminals.
Yeah, ICE is going to town right now.
Yeah, they're going ape shit.
Well, they even did it here in North Texas. They were gathering up folks.
Good.
They were gathering up folks when there was a protest down there in Dallas
Ooh.
saying, you can't, they all had.
Don't take away those super violent criminals. We want them here.
And they all had foreign flags.
Yeah,
carrying all
that's
these
it.
foreign flags.
They've in fact, I
hard.
saw on the news that in downtown Dallas, they got the Mexican flags, but they also had these flags that had the state of Texas meshed with the Mexican flag.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck that. We are Texas. We're part of the United States.
Yeah.
Walk the walk. And if you look, man, if you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say, man. Because this is Texas. And it's like I mean, look at that gay flag with the stars on there.
Stars, right?
You know,
just the stars. Yeah.
I don't.
No human is illegal. Go carry that sign around over
The rest of the world.
Middle East.
Yeah. The rest of the world. Nobody
Yeah.
allows what we allow. It's crazy, and we put a stop to it. So.
Yeah, whatever. You know what? We're changing everyone's tune because Donald is going out in front of the world and dropping the hammer, like his trip to California and sitting in front of Karen Bass and the rest of the fucking panel.
That
And
was
just-
great.
Just dropping the bomb. Oh, it's water. Yeah, it's like
It's very effective.
yeah, it's very effective.
Or
He
efficient. It's very efficient.
It's just kind of like bum 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 bum.
Yeah, going back to ICE. So, I mean, all the liberals are freaking out and crying.
Selena
And,
Gomez.
yeah, Selena Gomez bawling her eyes out.
I don't know
That
what
was-
to do.
that
My
was-
people. Boo!
That was over the
So
top.
you are an idiot.
And she immediately canceled it or deleted it. But
Because one of her friends was like, they're exporting criminals, right? Those are criminals.
it's so,
I was hoping to get raped on my last run.
wow.
What? Really?
Wow. Well, so, I mean, and then you have
What's wrong
then
with
you
her?
have the governor of Illinois claiming that ICE is raiding schools.
Right.
And so now I've got
It's fake news.
friends of mine saying, they're raiding schools now. You think that's okay? And I'm like, I think that's probably fake news. And sure enough, the governor came out later and backtracked. But you know that the mainstream media is not going to cover the backtrack.
Correct.
Which means the quote fact is out there forever.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Never disputed. It's so ridiculous. I mean, they are not. I mean, now granted, and even Frisco ISD, by the way, put out a notice that, according to the 14th Amendment, all students that they have, illegal or not, are if they're have the right to education, right? So they're gonna.
Yeah, but they don't have the right. They have the right to an education while they're here, but they don't have. It depends in which they have it. I mean, they don't have to have it in the structured environment of our schools.
Well, no, I mean, I think if they're here, the schools can't turn them away. I get that.
Correct.
It's not like the school can say, "Oh, wait a second, you're an illegal alien. I'm sorry."
That's all.
Okay, but here's my point. But if the family gets deported, then the kid is pulled out of school and they go back to their country of origin. That's not.
No, I agree.
It's not up to the school to decide who to give, education to or not. If the kids are there, you educate them.
So when our kids go, don't we need to provide all kinds of information on who they are and where they live and who we are?
Yeah. Well, we have
vaccine cards and all that bullshit.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
How do these?
Do
folks,
they get a pass on that kind
That's
of stuff?
what I mean. I mean, are there exemptions because I don't have an ID?
Yeah, and I don't know where I live.
Yeah, I don't have a social security number. I don't.
That's another thing. I think that separate but equal kind of program set up for those guys, and that sounds really shitty. But you know what? I don't care. You know what? Because they're not equal because they don't have the required amount of vaccines. Our kids couldn't go to school if they didn't have the correct vaccines.
Well, you had to get an exemption,
but they still have to get it.
Right. I mean, our kids, because some of them are not completely vaccinated, so we just had to kind of fill out that exemption form, blah, 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 blah.
And I agree with that 100%. That's what RFK right now, we're not completely not wanting to jump off the vaccine wagon. We just don't need 30 of them.
Well, we don't need untested experimental mRNA vaccines either. So that one I have a
Well, did you say there's
with.
a new one coming out for the stomach bug?
Yes.
Yeah, the norovirus.
It's another mRNA.
Yeah. Brought to you by Pfizer.
And by the way, it's experimental.
My only thing I said with that is at least they're testing it this time.
Well, they, quote, tested the coronavirus one too.
Did they?
Yeah. And
so
they totally fudged over the test results.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so there's a study out there.
I have a problem with the mRNA.
That in the United
I do
States, they Robert, the guy that was the inventor of MRNA, the mRNA.
Oh, yes.
Spiked. Robert Malone, I think is his name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
That is his name, Robert Malone.
I think so.
So he was doing having a meeting with some health officials, and they were talking about, and this was recent. They were talking about, well, how many deaths were a result of people getting the jab? And he was just like, well, how many deaths were involved with this? Well, I'll tell you what. In the United States, you could say there could have been at least 500,000 deaths related to getting the jab here in the United States. At least 500,000 could have been related to that. From the jab, not from COVID.
The virus itself.
And they said worldwide, it could have been as many as 17 million that died from taking the jab.
See, and that they'll of course say that's fake news, that the virus is what killed them, and blah 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 blah. So I don't know. I don't know what's true. I just know that we're not we're not being given the whole truth. That I do know.
I believe what Robert Malone says because he invented it.
Yeah, he knows. Well, he just knows it wasn't ready. He definitely knows it wasn't ready.
Well, where's he getting his information from? Where does he get that number?
I don't know.
Well, he's probably in the lab.
Well, I thought they're saying that 500,000 in total died. So what he's saying is it might have been every single death of COVID might have been the jab, not the COVID itself.
No,
but I mean, because I think that's the number.
He's not talking about COVID. He's talking about the jab.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying I think it was 500,000 people that are attributed to dying of COVID. So
what bothers me
I don't know how that would work.
Whenever I go pick up prescriptions at CVS or Kroger or wherever, they always ask, "Do you want your COVID vaccine?"
Right. Well, and flu.
Yeah, and I give a shit. I'm like, no, I'm not taking that crap.
Dude, I think
where do you pick up your stuff?
Put a note in my thing not to ask me that again.
Where do you buy your stuff at?
CVS.
They don't. I go to Walmart. They never ask me that.
Yeah, CVS does every single time.
I would tell them. I
do.
Have a few choice words.
I do. I tell them. I was like, I've never gotten it. I don't want to take it.
Stop fucking asking.
Stop asking me.
Yeah, the last number I heard is that 8% of Americans are continuing on with like the boosters and shit like that. I guarantee that number is even lower now.
That's stupid.
I mean, I think Pfizer totally overestimated. I mean, that's what they thought this would be. This would be the holy grail of revenue for them forever because it's going to be a never-ending booster.
Right.
And
just like the flu shot.
Everybody bailed on it.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's still people doing it, like you said, 8%, because I was on Reddit, which is just a liberal swamp hole.
It is a cesspool.
And I something populated on my thing on cruises, and all that was in there was about getting the COVID shot before you go. And if you have a cough, be considerate and wear masks the whole trip.
Oh, my God.
You need to wear masks. You need to get your COVID shot before you go on a cruise.
Crazy. But
and
you're
there
right.
were a bunch of people going, yes, 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 yes.
Well, this bird flu's coming, and they're already saying
It comes every year.
I know, and they're making a big deal out of this.
Of course they are.
And the conspiracy theorists are saying that this is another attempt to take down the Trump administration, right? To present another pandemic. So,
well,
I don't know. We'll see.
he won't shut the thing down. I mean, unless it turns into something that actually
Real.
is horrible.
Yeah, it has.
There needs
But
to
how
be,
are we going to get any guidance without Fauci? Fauci's gone now.
Well, he's got a preemptive pardon, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
That's going to screw him.
But don't we need his guidance?
That's going to screw him. And I've heard two kind of scenarios. I've heard that he could be extradited by some foreign country and tried there. One. And two.
Well, the U.S. government has to approve that.
It'll never happen.
Yeah, that won't
okay.
happen.
They're
Well,
not going to go after him. I mean,
I heard you guys also say the Gulf of America is not going to change.
It's not. Worldwide, it's not going to change.
well, I think it's hilarious.
It's
that
on Google.
Google has.
doesn't mean it's worldwide.
That's true. But
Google's worldwide.
It's only in America, though.
I think it's not official. I think it's only official because Trump is making it official for the United States.
Correct.
And so Google is going to do it, but they're waiting on some U.S. government agency that kind of puts out the formal thing. They're waiting for them to approve it, and then they'll do it.
And
Well,
things change all the time.
Yeah, I have no problem calling it the Gulf of America. I just don't think it's going to happen. If it does, that's great.
Right. Oh, you think?
I don't think the world will adopt it.
Oh, not the world. But Google will go ahead and say, sure, whatever.
Right.
If you want to call it Gulf of America for our users.
Correct.
But I mean that doesn't make sense because you have the Czechoslovakia. I mean they broke up into two separate countries. I mean
They named themselves, right?
well they're named now.
Yeah.
I mean I'm just saying that I think the world can adapt.
Well, no, it can. There has to be agreement, and there is not agreement on
There's
this.
not an agreement. It's been Gulf of Mexico.
not
It's been Gulf of
agreement
Yeah,
Mexico.
but says who?
It's been Gulf of Mexico since the
Who
1500s.
hasn't agreed with it?
There's the world, is what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm sorry, but I'm just still trying to wrap my head around who's not agreeing with it.
Do you think Mexico's going to agree with it?
Okay, so there's one.
I'm going to go with no.
No. I don't
Yeah, but
think
who
so.
I'm gonna
else?
say
Who else cares?
You think
is my
Cuba?
point.
You think Russia? You think China?
Yeah, I don't think they give a shit.
They're not going to do it.
I think they love us.
No.
They'd be like, fuck yeah.
No.
I don't know the answer to that, Sean. I don't know. I don't even know what it takes to make it official. I mean, do they vote?
All we
do they-
really need to know.
Do they vote on it in the UN?
There's actually a outfit out there that is, and it's not for all the bodies of water, that names bodies of water. And there's also oceans and seas across the ocean that have two different names.
All you have
Okay.
to
Where
do
the
is get
country-
China on board.
Where the country
They print
calls
everything.
it one thing and the world
Okay,
calls
well
it
then that's what
everything
we're going to
else.
be dealing with.
Yeah.
We're going to do inconsistencies because America wants to call it blah.
Right.
Okay, well whatever.
And I don't have a problem with it.
doesn't-
But where'd he go?
doesn't-
Because
doesn't
it brings
bother
up a good point. So if I want to change the name of something, I mean, you like let's say it's not a land. Let's say it's a fish.
Okay.
Who do you go to make that proposition? If there are stars out in the sky, I mean, I can go to a website and claim my own star.
You can name your own star.
I mean, but I can't change the name of a star.
What are you going to call your star,
Huh.
Sean? What are you calling your star?
Terra.
No, I wouldn't call it Terra.
Oh, that's
No, I know.
beautiful.
It's very nice.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
It would have, but
You're not gonna
anyways,
do it, huh?
no, I wouldn't. I'd call it something else.
It's called Paul. Paul's butthole.
Paul. Paul, come over here.
I call it the Great
You want to look
Funyun.
at my star? It's called Paul. I named it after you, Paul.
It's a
Look
chocolate
at it,
star.
Look
And I'm
at
gonna
it
be like,
glitter.
I got to go home, dude.
Look at it glitter.
I don't know. I just think I'm hopeful too. I'm hopeful it catches. At the end of the day, fuck, man.
Yeah, whatever.
It is the Gulf of America because it's not the Gulf of Mexico.
Right. Well,
It's
I mean,
not.
I don't know who,
I mean-
who has more boundary on that body of water.
I don't
that's a-
know.
that's
a
It's
question for
ChatGPT.
It's the entire east coast of Mexico, right?
Let's look real quick. Oh shit, man! It's pretty close to a tie.
Yeah, it's.
Look at that.
I think we win. I think that.
That's pretty close.
It's pretty
know.
damn close. You're gonna have to ask ChatGPT. That'd be the only way you could do that.
Maybe all the little nooks and crannies up there in the Mississippi area adds a little some length. But
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I think it's fair to split that. You know.
Let's see what it says.
You know, and they could draw an imaginary line between the two coasts. So, great question. When it comes to the Gulf of
Which
Mexico,
country?
Florida holds the title
which
for
country?
the most shoreline.
Yeah, this going by state.
the state
If you
is
want
not
country.
not by country.
Yeah.
I love the dialogue style of talking to ChatGPT. I use it all the time. And
hey, that's a great question.
No, and I'm like, no, I mean this. No, do it by this anyway. I mean,
I
don't have to
jump on that program.
I don't have to redo the question. It's
Well,
literally like talking to a person. I love it.
To be honest, I don't trust ChatGPT very much.
Right.
Because I gave you that example. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
where
it was
I asked the question. Oh, it was the Robert De Niro thing because I was
Yes.
editing and I ChatGPT'd about the Medal of Freedom.
Yep.
And Trump. One thing it said, Donald Trump did not do it because Robert De Niro does not have the Medal of Freedom. I was like, well, I thought Obama gave him the Medal of Freedom. Oh, you are correct in questioning
I love it.
me.
I love how
Yes,
it
he
says,
did
"Oh,
get
I'm
this.
sorry, I was wrong."
Yeah. So yes, he did get it. Trump did, but then it didn't reference Trump. I was like, well, did Trump pull it out? Then he gave me the same answer. Trump did not do it because he never received the Medal of Freedom.
So crazy.
I'm just like, I can't
And
believe
then
you.
but then there was a different medal that was rescinded from, but it was from the movie maker people.
Well,
He
no
was
one's no.
he was given an award from like Hollywood, and when he had his rant outside of the courthouse,
Correct.
they removed his.
Correct. Yeah, it was something like that. No Medal of Freedom has ever been rescinded,
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. So
according to ChatGPT.
So we
United States has
officially were wrong on that.
the United States has 1,500 miles, and Mexico has 1,000.
There you go.
There we go. We
So-
win.
There we go. It's Gulf of America now.
Again, I have no problem calling it Gulf of America. I just don't
And
think
it's not the Gulf of the
world-wise-
United States. It's the Gulf of America. We're North America.
Yeah.
It's
And
North
they're-
America
and
and
they're-
South America.
No,
And
I
there's
agree.
South America. Why?
I agree.
Yeah. Why should it be one country? It's shared by South America. It's shared by North America.
And Cuba.
What he's doing here is uniting the entire
People don't
continent.
see that because when you say America, people think of the United States.
Of course. I'm joking.
Canadians can say I'm American.
Right.
Yeah.
So can Mexicans. I'm
So
American.
not only is the Gulf of Mexico, did you hear Pete Hegseth reference Fort Bragg?
Is he changed the name back?
He was when he was doing his,
what was it changed to?
it was changed to
They changed
a
several.
non-Civil War person.
Yeah, they changed quite a few. Like,
Fort Moore was one of them.
yeah, what's the one down here in Texas that they changed outside of Killeen?
I don't.
Fort
Fort
Hood.
Liberty was Fort Bragg.
Is
changed.
Fort Hood still Fort Hood?
I think it is. Oh, they changed Fort Hood. Why?
Yeah.
Because Hood was a Civil War general.
It's like Fort Cavazzo or something like that.
Are you serious? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
It's Fort Cavazos.
Yeah, Fort Cavazos.
Oh my God. So they
Yeah,
basically.
in May 9th, 2023, the name was changed to honor General Richard E. Cavazos, the first Hispanic American to become a 4-star general.
Correct.
So basically, this was when they were purging all the statues, purging all the
Correct.
names of anything referencing Civil War, and I think that's a mistake because you can't erase history. You want to embrace history, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Hegseth said Fort Bragg, and it's not called Fort Bragg. So people were like, "Ooh!" And I was like, "I love it. I love it." Very nice.
Stomping on the easiest grounds that you can walk on.
I wonder if he's going to undo all those.
You could.
So what is Fort Bragg? For Fort Liberty, now,
Fort Liberty.
Cavazos, I believe, is still alive. Do you go up to him and go, yeah, we're going to switch it back?
Yeah, sorry.
So what was it? It was Fort Hood first?
Fort
So
Hood.
what was Fort Hood named after?
Was it some Civil War general?
I don't know.
So I mean, that's just it. I mean, you're gonna piss off somebody. You're ruining somebody's. I mean, it's like
Somebody's
going back
legacy.
and Liberty Lakes, the Indian and the
He
butter.
was
and-
Confederate General John Bell Hood,
There
who
you go.
commanded the Texas Brigade during the Civil War.
yeah, that's just absolute nuts.
And
They
I-
would change
yeah,
that stuff.
Cannot.
Bring it back. What
yeah.
are they gonna change the Alamo next?
Yeah, do not erase history. You can't do that. It's not a good idea. I was so angry when they did that was it during Biden? It was during Biden, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Biden. 100%. Yeah, because it
So,
happened in 22 or 23.
Dialing
Yeah,
it,
23.
dialing it back over to those ICE agents, it was kind of funny when they were taken off to Colombia and the plane was about to land. The Colombian president was like, "Hey, we don't want you here."
Right.
And
You can't land.
Trump was like, "Oh, by the way, if you don't let them land, I'm gonna do 25% tariffs." And sure enough,
And after a week, he said it would be 50
Yeah.
after a week.
fuck yeah.
And then
on his Colombian coffee.
and then so he says, okay. I'm not gonna do the accent, but you can use my personal plane.
Yeah,
But then,
he had to unload it with all the cocaine on it though first.
well, probably. But then on Sunday night, I guess they were, saying, he got bitched, by Trump, and they were dogging on him, and so he doubled down on Sunday night and like reversed course again, right?
You look even like more of an idiot doing this.
So, and I know that there's the other politicians in that country were trying to organize an emergency delegation to come to the United States to undo the damage that the president had done.
He's a dictator, isn't he?
Is he? No, I don't think so.
I don't think he is, because we have Colombian students here.
Well, I know, but wasn't he elected illegitimately or something like that, or is that Venezuela?
They kind of alluded to he was a former criminal. I did read that, I think.
It may have been Venezuela I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but the thing is that you get like Ocasio-Cortez.
Petro.
The price of coffee's going to go up now.
Right.
It's like, bitch, this is what they call economics.
Right.
You know, there's other coffee brands from other countries out there. If they want to sell their coffee here, there's going to be a tariff on it. Guess what? If the coffee doesn't sell, they're going to have to lower their price, or they're going to have to do a change on their side. You know,
right.
Tariffs are like, tariffs are going to hurt us. No, they're not.
No,
they're not.
It actually encourages competitors to have an opportunity.
I think most
ignorance.
of the beans I heard came from Brazil.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
So Brazilian coffee would go through the roof.
Yeah, or Ethiopian, or all those other type
And guess
of
what?
coffees.
He backed down because he knows that he can't compete. He made a mistake. He can't talk shit about this kind of thing. He will bury you. Trump will bury you, and he means it. This isn't just bluffing. People should know that now. He knows what he's doing this time around, and he's not bluffing.
He doesn't bluff around.
No, he doesn't bluff around.
That's right in your face.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, stick around and bluff off, right?
He is being blunt, and he's not holding back. The whole Karen Bass exchange was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then guess what? I think they went ahead and let the people start clearing out their
next
lots.
day.
And it was funny because she
talk
was
about-
just like, okay, she went back with them from 18 months, and she was like, it's not 18 months, and there were like people out in the audience. They were like, yes, it is, and they would like, he's like, there's 4 or 5 people raising their hands saying it is, and then she was like, well, we could probably do it in a week, and then Trump was like, yeah, it's
No,
too long,
too long.
you know. And
How about noon tomorrow?
Yeah.
He goes, I hope you use your emergency powers because these people need to be on their lots by noon tomorrow. Damn.
Yep.
And then people in the crowd are like, talking about different other things like, oh, yeah, we need a permit for this and a permit for that and a permit for that. No, we need another permit. And Trump's like, you need 3 permits for this? Yeah, wow, yeah. And then Karen Bass started saying, well, yeah, we're going to start streamlining
We're going to have all of them
permitting process.
Well, we're going to have them all in one room so you can get all the permits at once.
That whole thing made her look like a complete fool.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
All of the Democrat politicians look like complete
and
fools.
then when they took the mic away from her and then handed some other Yahoo, and he thought he was going to assert his authority, and Trump was kind of like, yeah, it's cold water. And that's what's going to make a difference here.
And the other thing that was great is they were going round robin, right, with the microphone, but whenever it was a Republican, they've been shit on for decades. They have no power. They scream bloody murder, but they don't go anywhere. But they're like, we're so glad you're here. We can finally talk about this, and you know what I mean? They're like...
Did you see the video of Governor Newsom on the tarmac?
Oh, yeah, that the alpha display.
What did he do? Did he try to shake his hand real hard?
Oh, yeah.
No. Before that, when he was waiting for Trump's plane to land.
He was uninvited, right?
Well, regardless, I'm just saying.
Was he getting all those peacock feathers up and everything?
He looked like a child waiting for his dad to show up that's going to scold him. He was just kind of just kind of fidgety. And,
yeah, well, I'll give you context. He was uninvited. He's like, well, I know he acknowledged that he was not asked to be there by Trump, but he said, I'm going to be there anyway. And so there's that awkward setup, right? He's going to show up, Trump's going to walk off the plane, and then what? And then they got into this alpha handshake, and the hard shoulder slaps on both sides, and they both kind of alphaed each other, and Trump was just like, bitch, please. And kind of...
I didn't see that, man.
Yeah, it was...
pull that up.
Did they bump dicks?
I don't know. They were helicoptering the shit out of each other.
Trump just came down the plane, helicoptering.
But he, and Trump might have been gracious, but you can see Gavin being kind of assertive here. Watch this. Kind of slapping each other, and they're not letting go.
Who let goes first?
And he's shaking his finger at him, and Trump's Trump's like, give me my fucking hand back. And then now he's like, look at him. And Trump's like, okay, whatever.
You know what they're doing here? They're testing this. So the next time Trump goes out there, they're going to have him shot from 2 miles out.
So, was that a pleasant exchange? It didn't look like it.
No. Looked like Gavin was bitching at him.
Kind of did. No, I don't know. He might have been
And
like
he wasn't dressed for success either.
he
You
might
would
have been
think he'd be
manly
in a-
manning, you know.
But he was dressed in jeans and just casual shirt not tucked in. I mean, who do you think you are, Fetterman?
I don't know.
Speaking of Fetterman, did you see him on The View?
Oh,
Yes, I'm loving
I
that
didn't
guy
see
right
it, but
now.
I heard about
Hey
it.
man, I think
he's got his own mind and he's rational.
and he's
he's-
like, I don't vote for I don't vote for Republican policies. I vote for Democrats, but I know that I want to make Pennsylvania successful.
He cares
and I want to
about-
win.
He cares about his
He has changed my mind on what I thought he was. I thought he was a disaster when he won. Just because basically he couldn't talk.
Mhm.
Well, he was.
He was recovering from a stroke,
Yeah.
and he was not doing well.
He wasn't communicating
He's
well.
actually recovered very nicely.
Yeah.
And
Now,
that's a great thing
he's
for
still
him.
a Democrat, but his mind is open. He's like the new Mansion kind of a thing.
Yes.
Cinema, right?
He cares about his constituents.
Yes. That's it.
He's going to vote for something that makes sense for them. He doesn't care about the company, the party line.
No.
I love it. All of them need to be that way.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean
well, look
all
at
of
him.
them.
Well, he
Look-
manhandled
look
the
at-
people from The View.
Yeah,
Manhandled them.
look at him. He looks like Lurch. He doesn't care what he looks like. He's wearing sweatpants and sweatshorts and hoodies and shit.
Yeah, to the point of inappropriate.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah,
doesn't
I think
care
that
at
is a
all.
little inappropriate.
Oh, it's weird. He's
Yeah.
wearing hoodies to like these really dressed up,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly, actually. But anyway, you saying he got manhandled by The View? No, I think.
No. He manhandled The
Okay.
View.
He handled
Yeah.
them very well.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. He went in there and he spoke his mind, and they even were like, well, that's well said. And they had nowhere to go.
Right.
They had nowhere to go.
They were shocked.
Because they were accusing him, are you going to be, they didn't say rhino, but are you going to be turning into a Republican?
A dino.
And it was like, I think you can look at my voting history and a dino. You can look at my voting history. Everything that I vote for is Democrat. It's just like, I'm not going to follow the laser like a cat does with all these new topics that are coming up.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to focus on things that are important.
You know why? Because he probably doesn't see himself as a career politician. He was voted there to do a job, and he's focusing on that job.
Oh,
And
who
you know,
knows?
you realize by him doing the things he's doing and voting the way he's voting, the party's not going to support him. They're not going to help him fundraise. They're not going to help him. They're not going to give him, high commission.
Well, Cinema and Mansion won a few times.
Right. Well,
I know what you mean.
but that's why they do what they do. They cannot, not be in the party's favor
Go
because
back to where
they
the
won't
Hispanic girls.
they won't get certain appointments to certain high-profile committees,
Yeah,
and
right there.
and their career won't flourish.
Right.
All right,
and
let's
they- and
listen
they
to
hold
this,
that
see what
over their
happens
head.
here.
Right.
All right, what do you got?
You joined all of your fellow Democrats and 3 Republicans in voting against Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary. But you were a yes on Kristi Noem, on Marco Rubio, and you've indicated you'll vote in favor of other Trump picks like Elise Stefanik for UN ambassador. You've also taken meetings with some of the most controversial appointees.
Really, all of them. The controversial ones are the non-ones. Yeah.
So the controversial ones are Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. Their hearings are set for later this week. Do you know how you're going to vote yet?
Well, again, it's like we just like all of you are going to watch the hearings and see how things go. And I was committed to having an open dialogue with anyone, and I've played it straight. And that's the same kind of rules that I play, and that's what I extend to them. And I found that to be illuminating, and I was able to develop a more full, informed choice. And that's what I've been doing there. Some were real easy, like Rubio. I mean, he's incredibly qualified, and there's other ones that are going to be controversial, and you're going to see some really controversial ones coming up this week. But now I can't say I refuse to even spend some time to just hear them directly from them, just the way I'm doing right now, having a conversation. So that's what I've decided, and I haven't regretted it.
I
There you
totally
go.
so respect that. And he mentioned these hearings coming up, and so we got Noam already went through.
Hegseth barely made it.
Barely went through. It took J.D. Vance.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
What Repubs switched lines?
Mitch
Mitch
McConnell.
McConnell.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Get
freaking turtle.
Get out.
Turtle,
Do you realize he's
turtle.
not done until 2027? I'm like, really? Are you serious?
Did he say this was his last bit?
Yeah, he's not.
You know what? It's just these.
It's nauseating.
There are so many different things that are going to start to come to light. I'm talking about with did Kosh Patel get? He hasn't been nominated yet.
They have not started
Or
yet. So the ones coming up this week are Gabbard, RFK Jr. and Patel. And Patel's probably going to be the most contentious one.
Yeah,
They can't stand him.
I saw
the Democrats.
that Deborah Wasserman Schultz, or whatever her name is, asking questions, basically calling RFK a Nazi and an anti-Semite.
Right. Oh, come on.
Because he said that the coronavirus was engineered and could target certain races.
He probably could.
Jewish, black people.
Right.
You're considering Jews a race.
Just so.
And so she tied that all together.
Yep. It's so exhausting.
And he's like, I did not say that. I did not say that. I did not say that.
Have the hearing started for
yeah.
RFK?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Oh shit! I didn't watch any of that. Well, there's a reason why.
RFK also
today.
said, and you guys are going to hate me saying this because you're so sick of it, but RFK was like, and I'm sick of you guys putting seed oils in the baby's food formula.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
Seed oils.
Seed oils
I
are
never
bad.
knew that.
Seed oils are bad.
But I mean,
There's
they
no
put it
question
in
about
dried Similac. You know, the stuff you scoop in and put in for your kids?
It's probably a
that's
consistency
horrible.
thing, I bet. What's it, rehydrolyzes or whatever the fuck it does?
Yeah, I don't know.
Rehydrates.
Anyways, it'll be interesting to see how those hearings go. They're going to be fireworks for sure.
I have a hard time listening to him. I'm sorry, but I do.
No, I
with the
agree.
throat- with
It
the
is
voice thing.
tough. It's tough.
I sat there and watched that exchange, and whenever he talked, I was like, God,
It's painful.
It's so
It
hard
is.
to listen
It is.
to.
And so, what? His vocal cords were paralyzed by some sort of virus. Is that what that was?
Yeah, he had some kind of disease or virus or something like
You
that.
got to
that-
give him credit.
Well,
for,
no, I mean, he keeps going forward, but it's just
It
hard
is.
to listen to.
It is kind of painful. What do you guys think about the release of the MLK and the RFK?
Spasmodic dysphonia.
Yeah, what is that anyway?
Dedicated to finding answers to rare voice conditions. I don't know. It's a rare voice condition.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Periods of
also
spasms.
known as laryngeal dystonia.
It breaks interruptions in the voice where the voice goes into
It'll
periods
go
of
to spasms.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, it's kind of painful.
Yeah.
So his father, they're going to release confidential records on JFK, on
Right.
RFK, and MLK. What do you guys think about that?
I'm fine
Well,
with it.
I thought they've
No.
released some of them because there's some audio out there. I don't know if it's real or not.
I don't think they've released
No, they haven't
anything.
released anything yet.
They
Oh,
have 45 days to do
yeah.
that.
There's something that is floating around. So it may be fake, but it has to do with Lyndon making the order to kill or whack JFK.
Yeah, that's definitely not true. That would have been wildfire everywhere. Everybody's waiting for like
Right.
the official document release.
Right.
So I can't imagine that's real. So
And it's not actually of Lyndon saying it. It's one of
Yeah.
the guys that worked for him taking the order to do it.
oh right, yeah, I don't know. You know what's interesting though is Trump said in his first term that he was going to release all that stuff,
And he didn't.
and he didn't. And the reason why he said he didn't is because it would be too damaging to national security or something like that.
No, it was one of somebody that worked for him said that. He was a snake that's no longer with them.
Bill
what's his
Burr.
fucking-
No, I read
No.
a quote from Trump today that said that was the reason why he couldn't release it. And I'm like, well, what's different now?
Right.
Like, why suddenly is the country okay with it? Or he said it would be, what was his quote? Maybe you can look it up, Mr. Producer, but it was Trump's quote for why he didn't release that sensitive information.
Oh, was it Mike Pompeo?
That's exactly who it was. Mike Pompeo is the one that told him not to. That's
Sure.
what it was.
Okay, well, so he was probably just following his, following his advice. But I know that Trump actually said something. Anyway, but
because Mike Pompeo was not bragging, but he was sharing the stories. It's like, well, Trump came to me and asked,
and I said no.
and he was like, no, he doesn't do it because there's some people that are still alive, and it wouldn't be a good thing to release that. It would affect their families.
Well, apparently he doesn't feel like that's a roadblock anymore. So we'll see
Well,
how
I mean,
that
it's
goes.
only fair. I mean, RFK Jr. is there. It's his dad. What the hell,
Yeah, and I know the King family has asked to
Well-
look at the files before the rest of the public does.
Well, that's the other Kennedy. That's not JFK. It's the by Sirhan, the other Kennedy that got shot. Bobby Kennedy. That's Robert's dad.
That's Robert's
So
dad.
it's his
Yeah.
uncle.
Yes.
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 No, that's Robert F. Kennedy's father.
Is Bobby.
Is Bobby.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why
but
he's a
JFK,
JFK
is
is his uncle.
RFK's uncle.
Correct, but they're
Uncle.
but they're going to release JFK, RFK, and MLK.
Correct.
So his father's information is going to be released as well because he's interested in knowing about it as well.
Correct.
He thinks the CIA took him out too.
Right. And I don't know what the King family thinks, but I tell you what, the FBI was brutal to MLK.
Well, Sirhan was a Palestinian who shot him, who shot RFK.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm thinking, what
Crazy shit.
Yeah, what could be the fallout from this? What's the worst case scenario? So the FBI becomes embarrassed, the CIA becomes embarrassed.
I think here's what the fallout I think is going to happen is that there's going to be a huge tide of I hate saying Republicans, but I think it's going to be a huge swing to the Republican side. They're going to start realizing, oh my God, MLK was a Republican, and they're going to realize that. All right, well, who took him out? Who was the deciding factor that did that? Oh, do you mean Democrats were in charge of KKK back then? They were the ones, and we're in the hoods.
You think it'll damage the Democrat Party?
100%. I think that's probably why.
Interesting.
That's exactly why they
it was the big switch. Remember, they keep pulling that out. Well, the Democrats of today used to be the Republicans.
Right.
The Republicans now are the Democrats back then who were the racists.
Right.
That's so stupid.
Whatever.
It's
what
all
the
silly.
fuck, man?
It's all silly.
Well,
anyway,
we can twist it however we want to support ourselves.
All right, so Shirin Bashira Saran, born in 1944, is the one that pulled the trigger. Oh, hold on. Did you about to pull the trigger on MLK? Or what?
It's Bobby Kennedy.
Robert F. Kennedy.
Oh, so he shot Bobby.
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah, we're right up to him and shot him in the head.
Right. Yeah, right.
That didn't get a lot of publication. I didn't see a whole lot of that. I didn't hear a lot about that story.
It happened in the 70s?
Big deal at the time.
60?
Yeah.
68?
69.
69?
No. 68.
So went right up to him, whacked him just like that.
Yeah.
Shot him.
Boom.
Yeah.
And what was the
68.
So was that a CIA operative?
Well, I don't know. That's probably what some folks may think is going to come out, right?
If you talk to RFK Jr., he thinks the CIA also walked up behind him and whacked him from behind because from the camera angle or from the shot angle from Saran, like the bullet wounds don't match up. He's got a whole 10 minutes on it on some podcast.
So same type of conspiracy for JFK, right? Single bullet, multiple shooters. How did
there's another conspiracy that came out. I think I sent you a link. Some guy talking about how the attempt on Trump's life from the crooks. I was going to say his name wrong.
Yeah, no,
that there
right.
was a team behind him that actually shot him. That the sniper that was on the roof that allegedly shot Crooks didn't shoot him. That
there was a
sniper
sniper team farther back.
That they shot him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the guy on the roof behind Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Because the bullet went out the kid's head, out the front of his head. And, if he had been shot from the opposite
front,
way,
it would have been out the back.
It would have been the other way.
Interesting.
So that was kind of interesting. So I'm kind of like, and they said that they were in the window behind him. So I was just like, how the fuck did they not see him?
I know. It's so shady. So much is shady about that. Well, hopefully we'll know more. They're doing an investigation.
But here's another interesting swing on this. They said that the room in which that sniper team was located, if you draw a line from that room to where Crooks was and the dude that got shot in the far right hand bleachers, it's a straight line. From
so it went through.
shooter,
So it went through his skull and killed the guy.
I misspoke. What I'm saying, it went from that window past Trump's ear and killed that guy. If you draw a straight line, it goes straight to that guy. And if you draw a straight line from that guy to Trump to Crooks, they don't line up.
No, that's not the way I heard it initially. So
I heard that yesterday, and it is interesting. So none of that's confirmed, but it's just like
they're doing an investigation. Hopefully they'll come out.
It just brings all this weird shit. It's like I don't trust fucking anybody.
It's going to turn into another JFK
Yep.
conspiracy we're going to talk about for the next fucking 60 years.
Yep. Unless we are freaking honest with the American public and we give the damn facts.
But when you line up those angles, I mean, they were saying that it was impossible for Crooks to make that shot.
Who is they?
Well,
so
again, it was on social media. This guy was just bringing up the angles and drawing lines on a computer with a map, with a Google map, and said this person was here, this person was there, and these are straight lines.
And I saw the same thing, a very slick 3D model, and they showed all the 7 or 8 shots, and they showed his shot missing Trump and killing that guy. So who knows?
Yeah.
You can produce anything you want and make it look as real, but
I know.
But the nice thing is, this did not happen under Trump's watch. And if Trump is ripping the Band-Aid off of like being truthful to the American public from all the agencies, FBI, CIA, Secret Service, then we should in the next 4 years get an honest assessment on what really happened. So that I'm hopeful for that.
I hope.
Yeah.
I do too. All right. Well, we kind of rushed through getting our bourbons kind of pulled out today, and
We
I
did.
didn't really get a chance to read. Oh my God, I'm trying ready to get a whole lot.
Oh God, that's like an
Why do you
alligator.
have spittle
I know
all
there's
around
like
your
juice
microphone?
came out on that.
Sorry,
Are
man.
you okay?
I was excited. I was like, drink.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break.
All right, so we got our official whiskey for the first half. It is a Michter's bourbon.
Yeah, it's just a standard Michter you can find on the shelf.
It is. I'll tell you what. It's Michter's U.S. 1 Kentucky Straight Bourbon, bottled at 91.4 proof. It is it's a small batch, distilled in Kentucky and aged in new fire charred American white oak barrels. So before we dive into the tasting notes, let's get a little swish and see here.
Well, I know on the nose, I wrote a couple things down before I forgot what I thought. I was picking up some cinnamon, some baking spices, and some vanilla on the nose.
Absolutely. Yep.
And there's a sweetness to it.
Very, very sweet.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you're going to hate it, but stone fruit. I totally taste like the cherries and the peaches. There's definitely stone fruit in there. Rich caramel and vanilla.
Yeah. I could pick all that up. This has always been a really good one.
Yeah, this is really good.
We've always liked this.
It's very earthy, mellow, super. It's got the kind of the finish there. It's got a little spice on the end, just a little spice.
Tiny bit of burn.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
little
But
This
not
is good.
not
little
obnoxious at all.
clove at the very end.
Yeah. I would pick this up again. Like when I finish one of my bottles downstairs, I would add a Michter's to it.
Yeah, I agreed.
You know?
Is this one hard to get?
No, it's on the shelf all the time.
Okay.
And I know it's very respected. Like
Oh, yeah.
other people I talk to, they're like, "Oh, Michter's." I mean,
Oh,
so
yeah, it's good.
I think it's generally very well
Well, we just
respected.
finished the bottle. This is like our fourth pour, and we've always liked it.
Yeah.
Didn't we have? Oh my God, that's when Stain was
That was
here.
Michter's 10.
Yeah, we had a Michter's 10. That was delicious.
Oh, that was amazing.
We drank the
We-
entire bottle.
Dropped the bomb on that one.
Yeah, that was good.
All right. I don't know what we're doing with these rankings, but I'm going to pull my little sheet out here. Have you showed our producer
What
where
was
they're
the
at?
proof?
I will show him right now.
Did we know what the
91.
proof? 91. All right.
For a 90 proofer. Now, I believe Michter's 10 was also in the 90s.
91.4.
91.4.
I'm going to give this a 7.8 for me.
I'm going to go with 7.4. Very respectable. And it's nice that it's one that's easy to find. I mean, that's generally a difficult thing to do sometimes.
I'm going to match Jeff with a 7.8. All right.
Alrighty.
So, Jeff, just for the record, I wrote down like 2024 March Booker's, whatever date that was, and then I got O/E
O/E.
first.
O/E.
Over under.
No.
No, wrong letters. It's OU.
Over even.
Over even. Over easy.
O/E. And
Over
then it looks like
easy.
furs or
Oak
fins.
and Eden.
Oh, yeah. That's probably what it is.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Probably not over easy.
Talking eggs.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
call. Good call, Jeff.
Yeah. Oh, I really like this Michter's. The sweetness hit really good tonight for some reason.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It's I enjoyed it because it wasn't too hot. You know,
Right.
it's just like something you can sit there and chill. Again, it's hard for someone like me who's on the cusp of accepting that I'm an alcoholic, I think. And it's because it's so easy to drink. I can like totally want to like drink another one,
Right.
you know? So I'm really trying to,
Well, there's none left,
Behave.
so.
well,
can't
it doesn't
drink
matter.
more.
I mean, I still feel it.
Oh, there's 200 other bourbons. He could
Right.
find something. So
This
good
is
job
true.
for behaving, Jeff.
This is
I mean, Sean, we're believing in you.
You got that. You know what's weird?
Seeing me without
I've
the
got-
semblance screen.
I've got a freaking
Yes.
nose pimple
Oh.
And every time I bump the microphone, it's like, ow, ow, ow.
It's funny you say that. I have a nose pimple. It's higher up on my nose, and I think it's from the CPAP machine.
Could be.
On my nose cup.
Well, it's just a clogged pore is all a pimple is. So
Yeah,
if
just
it's
pop that bad boy, move on with life.
I did.
but,
Squirt it
I was-
everywhere.
I was going somewhere
make a
with
noise?
this, though.
I
but,
got serious pimple throw.
My brother, I talked to him today, so I made a few phone calls before I got here because I was going through some stuff, and I thought my Uncle Gary's old.
Right.
He's about to die. My other Uncle Clyde, he's old, and they're old.
We're at that point where
Hold
people are starting to die.
They're
in our
not-
lives.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
not old. They're in their 70s. They're just not fantastical in health right now. And so we're kind of concerned. So we're trying to plan something. But I talked to my brother. My brother has gout right now.
Ooh.
So,
What the hell?
yeah, on his foot, he's like absolutely miserable. Gout's a real thing.
Yeah, I've
out
heard
there.
It
it's
is.
horrible.
It's like,
painful.
it's like crystals in your
Yes.
veins down
Yes.
there. He's like, dude, I couldn't even put a blanket over my feet. They had to sit out in the open. It's like, man, he's like miserable.
That sucks.
First
Sorry to
half
hear
of the podcast, January 28th. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Dudes Like Us Dash Podcast, Dudes Like Us Dash Woodcraft. Thank you, Mr. Producer, for the first half. We'll see you guys in a little bit. We
Yep.
got a big show lined up. Dudes Like Us. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.